Hello, my beautiful soul sisters. We are back once again. One of those deep breaths with me. Bring it up to the shoulders. Let it go. Today, I want to dive into the practice of you. If it resonates, the practice of me, and how through a daily practice and doing things over and over and over and over that we can truly live our lives, embracing our lives for what it is, for who we are, and showing up as each moment presents itself. I'm so grateful for you, my beautiful soul sisters. Please share today's episode with one person. Make it a vow to share this message with someone and ask them to do the same so we can grow and share. And head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and a review. It helps grow and it just means the universe to me. I love you. I'm so excited to be here today. Hi, I'm Shelly. Welcome to my show. One of my many roles is a mama, a wife, a house manager, a yoga teacher, an intuitive healer, a spiritual practitioner, and a writer. As many of us can resonate with, we wear so many hats throughout the day. On this podcast, here is the space I've created for women to help us grow and help us to awaken to what really matters, to tune into ourselves, flaws and all, to embrace that healing is a journey. It is not the end point. I'm here to hold space, to share my ugly truths in hopes to invite you to awaken to yours. I want you to know that you are not alone. I am right here walking this path with you. The practice of me, or the practice of you, whatever resonates. Showing up is something that's a constant. We can't just show up sometimes and then expect our lives to make these miraculous changes or manifest all that it is that we desire. I really have been learning a lot and always learning. I feel like I am just the same as you. We are all these students of life, and growing is something that doesn't have an ending point, which is something that I definitely held the false perception that growing was something that I would just one day wake up and be like, I'm all here. I'm done. I'm spiritually evolved. I am a new and better me. There will be those days where you notice it and you're like, wow, I've really shifted a lot. Or the coolest thing about personal growth is when your family and the people around you see it. Something, though, that I learned really early when I started shifting and evolving and awakening was a lot of resistance. It first came from my husband. He was super resistant because as humans, we are all so resistant to change because change brings up the fear of the unknown. And where fear comes, all of these underlying feelings and emotions erupt. And it's so important on our path to just keep open to whatever life is bringing us. And even if it's fear, sometimes fear comes up huge. Fear comes up a lot. And I've really been learning through Tony Robbins is that changing and altering our physiology, changing our actual state. And that's something that I am really beginning to awaken to on its own is what is my state and what does that mean? What does it mean? What is your state? So think of we're on this kick of growing and healing, and that's what I've been on, and maybe even a health kick. But what is your emotional state? Like, what is the state that you are always living on? Are you always feeling excited and happy or angry and overwhelmed? I know as a mom, it's super easy to get kicked up in the anxiety and the overwhelmed card. And where that comes from, my sisters, is anxiety. Anxiety comes from, where does it come from? Fear. It's fear of the known sometimes, and sometimes it's fear of the unknown. And I actually have this beautiful soul sister, Jess. Jess, if you're listening, I love you. And she is a holistic homeopathy, amazing practitioner. And there's actually Bach flower essence that are essence from flowers and trees that come in kind of like a tincture form with a dropper lid. And I know one of them that I have been partaking on is aspen, the aspen tincture from Bach. It's BACH, Bach flower essence. And that really can help with the fear of the unknown. So there's fear of the unknown. And then, my soul sisters, there's fear of the known, which is something that we might think, that's really interesting. And I could be mistaken. I need to do my research here. Let me pause for a moment. Okay, I actually found this beautiful one that is called Face Your Fears. And it's Mimulus, Mimulus, Mimulus. And there is also a really amazing Bach flower, the Rescue Remedy. It's RESCUE, Rescue Remedy, that really can help us when we are in those fear states. And something though that I'm noticing that I don't always have my Bach flower essence on me, even though I would love to always be able to have this little dropper. However, I really am an advocate for getting to the root of what it is that is causing the fear, because it's the same with medications, prescription medications, or over the counter, under the counter, drugs, alcohol, even our phones, and getting that dopamine hit. It's what is the underlying cause, the root cause of why we are experiencing this fear, and where's this anxiety coming from? And something that I'm learning that is very attainable in this moment is movement, which we all know this. We know that when we actually get up and do a workout or practice yoga or go for a run or go for a walk, that we feel better. Why do we feel better, do you ask? We might know this or might not know this, but there's an actual trigger and a release of all of these hormones and all of these chemicals that your body pump through your brain and your body. And that's why you feel better. And you have all of these different releases. And this is really cool that the superhero pose. Have you ever seen the superhero pose? I think I've talked about it. It's almost like in yoga, a wide-legged forward fold, but you're not forward folding. You're just wide-legged, feet probably 3 to 4 feet apart, hands in a fist at the hips, stand at attention, super, super duper up tall. This is something I got from Tony Robbins. Feet rooted firmly on the earth. And what happens is it increases our testosterone. That's that male hormone. And it lowers the cortisol. Cortisol is that stress hormone that is releasing that constant stream. And that's why a lot of us are experiencing anxiety, overwhelm, and fear over and over, because our cortisol levels are off of the roof, especially when we're watching news or we're worried about maybe our kids or our family members, or when the world is in disarray. The thing is, my soul sisters, is there's always going to be something. Like the pandemic has winded down, it's softened, the war is still here, but there's always a stressor. There's always something in the world that is going to be going on. We were not put on this planet to live in this peaceful love and harmony. I really wish that that was the case. And I used to think that that was the truth. And it's funny because when I first started my YouTube channel 5 years ago, I called it Love, Peace, and Happiness. And I just wanted love, peace, and happiness, which, yes, I strive for. I want to be happy and I want to have peace, but I don't think that it's something that we're meant to just always be in this bliss state. Maybe there are those few enlightened yogis, but even I've met gurus or seen gurus who are just kind of just in their own state of being, and it doesn't necessarily equal happiness. It's not always that state, because we really were put on this planet to experience all of it. We're meant to experience joy and bliss and love and connection and compassion and grief and sadness and anger and even anxiety. Anxiety is our body's way. It's our response to protect us. It's telling us, alert, alert, alert. You need to watch out. What's happening here? The problem is that a lot of us get stuck in anxiety, and then the cortisol levels, that hormone in the body that creates that stressors, is just off of the roof. And something that I'm learning that's so simple and so attainable, just like when I first started practicing yoga and I learned about this simple practice called breath work, or work might be something that kind of has this hard, harsh meaning. So if it's a breath practice that's in, out, breath is something that's accessible now. Your body is accessible now. Sometimes, though, right, our bodies go through physical stressors and even manifestations. And I really am in alignment with Louise Hay has this book called You Can Heal Your Life. And she has a little blue book, and it has a metaphysical reason why this thing happened in your body. So do I have my book over here? Louise Hay. Here it is. Let's find it. You Can Heal Your Life. Louise Hay. And so let's just dive into me because I am really open to sharing. So I was sharing with you that I have been healing and a lot of alleviating this energy. I've had this really dark, gross mass balled up in my calf on my left leg. Left leg, left body is our female energy. And so all of these different signs, and I've had many different healing treatments done. I've done quantum healing and a really deep tissue and psychic massage I was really open to just receiving whatever this was. And the messages are abandonment, that I have this abandonment from this life and many lives. And that the other deep-seated programming of fear is I have to do it all alone and then I'm going to be left alone. So I've just kind of gotten to the space where I always have to, no matter what, I've been married for almost 20 years, that I have to do everything alone, even with a partner. That's one of my programmings. And so it's like this deep-seated abandonment. And that is where I will notice things with my husband where he's doing something that's has nothing to do with abandoning me. And the deep-seated message is, oh my gosh, he's going to abandon you. He's going to abandon you. So I'm looking in Louise Hay's book. And this book is so helpful because it helps us acknowledge these physical manifestations and then maybe realign. Maybe if it resonates with you. So I'm looking for leg. So let's see. So it's alphabetical order. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's do our ABCs today, Shelly. Okay. So we have on the far left, it gives you the space on the body. So I'm looking at leg or legs. And then the second one is our legs, what do? They carry us forward in life. And so my legs are carrying me forward. And then this is, okay, so my healing affirmation or mantra is life is for me. And so something that I've really learned over the years too, when I wrote about in my book, Awaken You, is that affirmations are super helpful. It's such a segue to our lives and our thoughts and our programmings. But however, if we just say something and we don't believe it to be true, it's not going to come true. And this lovely Louise Hay does share with us that it can take 200 to 300 times for us to say a new thought and adopt it as a truth. What I'm learning even deeper and deeper through Tony Robbins' work is incantations, which are you say words, but you have to move your body in a way that feels good. So it's that superhero pose, or I love hula hooping. When I hula hoop, I am joyful and playful. I'm in this really beautiful state, talking about states, coming back to the beginning of this podcast, that my state is elevated. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling uplifted. My energy levels are high. And so my healing affirmation is life is for me, instead of thinking, oh my God, life is not happening to me. Or the motto usually is life is why is this happening to me? Well, I'm not a victim anymore. No more victim mentality, Shelly. It's time to shift that life is for me. Okay, and then let's see. So in the same leg, what I have manifested is these really nasty, I found it right away, of course, varicose veins. I'm not kidding you. It looks like there's giant earthworms in the bend of the back of my left leg. And so I'm 39 years old. I've had these huge, gross varicose veins for probably 5 years now, that in the summertime, I'm ugh. And I used to spray tan my whole body to hide them. And I've recently just adopted my body and I accept my body just the way it is. And spray tan is super fun sometimes, but I'm just not into always spray tanning. So I just want to embrace it. Okay. So let's see what Louise is telling me about this varicose veins in my legs. It's saying that I'm standing in a situation you hate, discouragement, feeling overworked and overburdened. How many of you have varicose veins? How many of us can relate to this? Standing in a situation I hate, discouragement, feeling overworked and overburdened. This especially rings true for 5 years ago when my varicose veins started appearing when I was doing hair still. I just had finished doing hair. So let's rewind even before that. I did hair for 14 years and I used to love it. I really did. I had this like creative outlet and I worked for this really awesome salon and I was moving up and I was a master stylist after like 5 or 6 years because I just kicked ass. I was working hard. I was always hitting my benchmarks. I was always the top like 5 in retail sales. I really loved it. And then it just kind of, I wanted to have babies. Rex quite didn't yet. And 6 years in our marriage, well, how old was I? 26. Yep, I was 20 when I got married. That we did get pregnant with Junie. And then 2 years and 2 months later, Milo. 2 years and a little bit under 2 months later, Jack. So we had 3 little ones. I was working part-time and I was not happy. I had trauma that stuck with me in the birth that I had with Junie was super traumatizing. And it was something that created that everyday rush of cortisol, everyday rush of anxiety, everyday rush of yucky, shitty life. And so that is where my varicose veins. So I can really resonate with thinking of standing in a situation I hate, discouragement, feeling overworked and overburdened. I really don't feel like that anymore. I can like say that and really reach for that. However, the manifestation, they are here. I really have been doing a lot of work, and let's see what Louise Hay says, how we can heal these. I stand in truth and live and move in joy. I just think of me in a hula hoop and moving my hips. I stand in truth and live and move in joy. I love life and circulate freely. I think of varicose veins and legs, like veins are constricting. It's like inhibiting the flow of blood and the flow of life. And I just can imagine sending this energy down and out. And it was actually pretty awesome. After I did share about it last week that my soul sister Jess and I did these healing sessions on each other. And it was just so magical. And it was a few days after it, usually like the week before I get my period, that leg and those veins are like boom, 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 boom. And just they hurt. My thighs are aching and I just feel so hungry and so cranky. And I feel like I'm going to rip everyone's heads off. Do you resonate with that? Does your period bring that up? Yeah, it happens a lot. And we started watching another new Vikings obsession. If you know me, I love the Vikings because I feel at home, and so much of the Vikings things, minus the raping and the sacrificing of people, I'm not really in alignment, and the killing of people, I don't really resonate with that, but just like the culture and how everyone is so like tall and powerful, strong women, and I love their rituals that they did. And so we were watching Vikings Valhalla, which is a spinoff on the Viking show. And I love that. I do. I love that. Except for I don't like how they're always trying to get, what's it called? They're like revenge. I don't resonate with the revenge as much, but so that night I could just feel this movement and this pain collecting in my leg. And so for me, I know that I have to continue to practice me all of the time. And even if it's when I'm watching a show at night. And so I've really been in love with the yoga strap. And so I grabbed my strap and a bolster and I just laid on the floor and I kept doing all of these stretches towards like letting go. And I kept imagining like moving this flow of old energy, clearing and transmuting it through all time, space, reality, and dimension out of my leg, and just moving it down and moving it away. And really, I kept stretching, and I would take the strap and I laid on my back and I looped the strap around the sole of my foot and then just pressed my heel high to the sky. And just like even that physical tightness and tension in the calf region, like how many of us hold tension or stress or whatever it is in our body. And it's not just like the physical holding, my beautiful soul sisters, it's also that energetic holding, because our roots, that's our space of safety and security and trust. So it makes sense for me why this life and many lives ago, I trapped, in this life that I trapped from, probably many lives and this life, this like abandonment. I have to do it all alone. It was like all of the pain and all of the hurt and all of the anguish. I took it and I shoved it into a ball, and then I shoved it down, 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 down deep. I shoved it down deep where I could ignore it. And then I thought I could just ignore it because I shoved it down in my leg. Well, hello, varicose veins. Yeah, that's causing pain. And I have a girlfriend who, one of my other soul sisters that I knew before Rex, that I know that she had surgery to remove varicose veins. And I've even heard of these surgeries that you get and they take them out and then they come back, because we have to get to the root cause, sisters. We have to really dig deep. Like, what is that emotional programming? What is it that is really deep, deep, deep at the center, at the core of who we are, of what is our beliefs about life and what is our beliefs about ourselves? And coming to that emotional state that a lot of us do. We live in this state of anger. I'm thinking, especially, I've had my son Milo home. He's been homesick all week. He's 10, almost 11, and he is super hard. He's probably like spying on me through the door because that's his favorite thing to do. And then he's like, "You're always talking crap about me." But he's been just like he's been so challenging, and everything that he says is something that's like attacking at someone else or attacking against him, or it's just like very negative and very frustrating to me. And then I lose my cool and I'm like, "Stop it. Like, you're so negative." And then I'm just yelling and I'm not making it any better. And I don't know what to do. So if you know what to do, give me some advice, mamas, because I have never raised a son like this before who's getting older and thinks he knows everything. And then I remind myself that you're only 10. Your brain isn't fully developed, that you can't make rational decisions. And yes, you think that you know all of the things, but oh, my little love, just trust your freaking mama. And he has been so sick, and it started with this like this constant chronic cough, just like all of the time, like so much so that I'm just opening and I'm venting freely, like just kind of like so annoying. Like, I almost caught myself yesterday, like, "Stop coughing." And then I had to be like, "Okay, come on back, Shelly. Like, this is fine." And he's just been feeling crappier and crappier. And finally today, he's actually feeling better. And the cough is like lessened, and it moved from like this upper dry cough to kind of like a little bit lower in his lungs. And it's like moving up and out. And like, I can tell he's getting better. And he actually had all of these weird symptoms of pink eye, which I know it's just an expression of the virus coming through his eyes. And so when I bring to his awareness, "Milo, do you think maybe that you getting this sick and then getting sicker is a reflection of maybe the way you've been treating people or acting to people?" And of course he's like, "No, that's so stupid. Nobody." What does he say? "I don't believe in your stupid yoga stuff." And he's just like that. And he'll just say the things that he knows that will irritate me, that I'm really learning to get into my own when it comes to my emotional state, and not just react from this space of anger and like, freaking out. Like, "What do you know? You're just a kid." And no, thank you. Because the second we do that, soul sisters, we lose our power. We lose our power when we start freaking out at the other person. However, we claim our power when we notice what's happening. And if we lose our cool, like, yeah, we all do it. We're going to do it. We're humans. It's fine. The difference is between today and yesterday and the past is that we notice it now, or we don't notice it until after. And then when we do, we're like, "Okay, I need to realign and I need to communicate either with myself. I need to ask myself for forgiveness, let that energy, whatever that emotional state, like wash through me, and then let it go." Because what's been happening, my beautiful friends, is that we're taking these feelings and then we're shoving them down, and then they're manifesting, and then they're creating this everyday rush of stress and fear and overwhelm. And it's time to rewrite those old narratives. It's time to rewrite the old stories that we play on repeat. So whatever it is, or whoever it's about, I think of our intimate relationship with our closest person, our spouse, because that relationship and the relationship with our kids, these relationships, as we know, are our biggest teacher, and they're also our biggest triggers and emotional response setter offers. I think if they're just like these traps, like, And especially if we're stuck in these old patterns with our spouse. I know that Rex and I get super stuck and we don't even act like ourselves. I have to like pause myself. And Rex is really good about calling me out. And I'm really grateful that he does, even though in the moment I want to like rip his throat off, but I don't. That this is how we grow. And we have to be open to creating shifts. And we need to have an awareness or having this ability to notice. And so, the ability to notice, maybe you might be thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or you might be thinking, okay, maybe there's been times where I've noticed, but my ego has gotten in the way and said, no, you weren't wrong. He was wrong. It was blah, 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 whatever it was. That's where the noticing begins, either if it's from judgment or from love. And most of the time, it totally comes from judgment. The times where the ego says that I don't need to apologize because he's wrong or she's wrong or blah, 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 whatever it is. I said the blah, 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 because you know what I mean. Fill it in with all of the crap that's engulfing your life. So if we can begin to notice, okay, I'm noticing this. I'm noticing because I did ask you this as a self-care practice. Did you hold yourself accountable? Here I am showing up as your accountability partner, accountability soul sister. What are those three biggest emotions that you survive on or you thrive on? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it overwhelm? What is it? Fear is the biggest one, and fear is anxiety, fear is overwhelm, fear is worry, fear is the big kahuna. What about anger? I know that anger has been a super close friend of mine. My sister is calling me. I'm going to say, I will call you back, sister. That it is time for us to become emotionally aware and to notice our energetic state of being. So our emotions are connected to our energy, not from. That motion creates emotion. So if we are in a state of just sitting all day, I know I do this. I've talked about this before. I'm sitting down, I'm doing my things, and I have that low energy drive. I don't feel like doing anything. And it's like, cleaning my house feels overwhelming. Do you ever get that? Do you look at your laundry pile and feel so overwhelmed? You're not alone. But if you get up, move your body in a silly, goofy way, jump up and down, do hula hooping. I've literally been just like, I get up and I took that beautiful Tony Robbins training, Unshakable, and he really teaches you to raise your energy, to elevate, and just put on some music. Or music isn't always available, but my body is. Your body is always available, even if it's like doing jumping jacks. You have to change your energetic state of feeling, your physiology, changing that to change your emotions. And this is something that's a practice. This whole podcast is about the practice of you, my beautiful soul sister, and knowing that when we have awareness, like what are your practices or what are your rituals for yourself? What are the things that you do to help yourself? Do you have a morning practice? I can honestly from my heart and my whole truth and gut say I have this solid practice that I had super solid for 5 years, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, maybe 6 years. And then COVID hit and it did get rocked. I got rocked a little bit, but I still would show up on my mat. My meditation practice did fall away. It was maybe once a week if I was lucky that I would get a meditation practice. And then just this past year, I just had to decide Shelly, you're waking up. And so I was making myself wake up at 6:30, and then I realized, oh my gosh, that wasn't early enough. I can't with my kids, and I just didn't have enough time. And then it was 6:10. And then I realized, okay, I just need a little bit earlier. 5:51 is my new time that I just started this last month. And for me, that extra 10 minutes, I feel like that first 10 minutes, I pee, I brush my teeth, I brush my tongue, I start my gratitude practice in my head. But by the time I get my water, I'm on my meditation cushion, it's that's 10 minutes. So I'm okay, if I get 6 and I can get a meditation practice in from 6:10 to 6:15, sometimes it goes a little longer, sometimes it's less. And I can give myself a solid 45 minutes for movement. And that is what I do. And I do that every day. And the thing is that this is something that I had to try it. I have to try it every day. But now it really is something that I just do. I unroll my yoga mat. My mind knows I'm just going to practice yoga. And even when I haven't been feeling that inspired, I've been getting my old yoga teacher training manual and opening that. And it was last weekend actually, I literally went through the first 60 postures. It was like the weekend and everyone was still sleeping. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to get back to the basics of yoga, even though I just finished my 300-hour teacher training. But I wanted to get back to my 200-hour basics just so I was like remembering that beginner mindset. Because often when we're doing something for a long time, we get like, it's okay to get confident and know what you're doing, but it's also good to like ground and recenter. Because I remember when I first started practicing yoga, I felt so uncoordinated. I felt stupid. I felt like I didn't belong. I was in this super judgment. I was in all of the things that yoga says that it's not, that I was experiencing. Can you raise your hand? Can you hear me, sisters? We all do that. So whether it's like starting a yoga practice or a workout practice, or we have a bike right now in our kitchen because we're finishing our basement. And I say we've hired people to do the sheetrock and the texture. And it's been ongoing now for over a week, which is like amazing. But then also it just like puts you in this state of not knowing when people are coming to the house, and then it's messy and it's loud and it's this weird energy. And it's just like, no, you're still going to show up, Shelly, and you're still going to do the things. So me in my living room doing all 60, it took me like an hour and 15 to maybe 30 minutes to do all of the poses. And then the next day I was like, I'm going to just do all of them. And so it was so cool because I didn't have really maybe a game plan, and I maybe didn't feel as motivated to do my practice, but with a little extra inspiration, it was there. And that's why I am so grateful to share my gifts of teaching yoga and bringing yoga to an online platform. I have it on YouTube right now, and I have been put through the ringer on my website because this block of that I'm not super technology savvy kind of gets in the way. But I'm working through it and I'm doing it, and I'm still working through like the video. It's so crazy because I've been making videos for 5 years and I've been uploading them, but now I'm putting all this like extra pressure to do better and make it better and make it the best that it is. And I have been having these huge technology blocks. Like I usually use this app called InShot. Okay, well, InShot is like failing to upload my videos. My phone storage is overflowed. And like I did a practice today, I'm doing for I'm so excited, my website. It's the chakra detox, and I did the Muladhara chakra, a vinyasa flow for the root chakra. And I get all the way through the practice and all the way done, and I sit up and I realize, oh my gosh, my camera turned off. My camera turned off right when I was doing the Shavasana, like relaxation, relax legs, relax feet. I get up to jaw, relax jaw, and then the camera cuts out. And so I do the whole practice thinking that it's recorded. It did not record. And then so my phone is like, storage full. Storage full, go to settings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. But I don't not have time for this because I have to like all the things. So this is the thing, is that in life, there's always going to be hurdles. There's always going to be technical difficulties, whether it's people or emotional blocks or our belief blocks or our stories that we're telling ourselves. Me sharing all of my yuck with you is to allow you to know that whatever is happening, whatever blocks are coming up, that we must strive on. We must keep showing up. We must keep practicing. And all of the things that we are rewarded from, as Tony Robbins shared with us, that is things that we have worked hard and practice on by ourselves that we get rewarded on in public. Because people who show up on a stage, or singers or athletes, they work their freaking butts off. They don't just like show up like Venus Williams, Serena Williams, sisters. And I think actually one of them passed away. I think it was Venus. I can't remember. I send you love, sisters. My goodness, sisters. That we have to just like keep showing up and keep practicing. Like I think about this so much, like, and even that whole intention behind me re-showing up and re-practicing my beginning yoga poses that I know those poses, but I was really refined and reminded of all of the different modifications because everybody is different. And I really created my space and bringing this gift of yoga too for those mornings where we're feeling like I do not got this. I cannot keep myself on track. And that's what's so like the beauty of online is that you can do it anytime, anywhere, and you can literally access it on your freaking phone on the click of a button. However, I do not like taking yoga classes from my phone. The screen's so small, I have to like squint. I actually have it hooked up. We have a Roku TV. So if I do take an online class, I really enjoy putting it on the big screen because then it feels like really a teacher is there. And yes, I'm a total dork and I do like to take my yoga classes to experience what I'm bringing to the world. And they are wonderful. And I'm doing such a good job. And I'm so grateful because for the past, since Jack was a baby, Jack is going to be 9. My baby is going to be 9. I can't believe that, in April. So 2 months away. That almost 9 years that I have had a practice that has been perfectly imperfect and I've been showing up for it. And that is what I'm here, my sisters, is sharing that we have to practice us and we just show up. And maybe sometimes, even if you don't know what you're showing up for, sometimes it's just showing up and maybe like we were talking about doing that freaking superhero pose, because raise your confidence, raise your energy, and also lower that cortisol, because maybe you haven't gotten to a space in your healing journey where you're aware of what is triggering the anxiety or the overwhelm. Maybe it's something that is just growing and growing and growing. I really implore you to do something different, because we're not going to get new results if we haven't tried something new. So yoga is a beautiful practice to awaken that inner peace, that inner calm, to awaken that inner knowingness, because when we can become aware, everything shifts, everything grows, and everything expands. My self-care practice of today is to do that power pose, to do that, I call it almost like this super goddess, because superhero, and like I never really resonated or never wanted to be a superhero. I don't know if it was a girl thing, but I always have wanted to be a goddess, which we are all our own divine goddesses, feminine goddesses. So your feet wide open, 3 to 4 feet apart. I'm doing it with you. Stand up, hands and fists at the sides. Raise your heart light, raise energy. Inhale, deep breaths. Exhale. 2 minutes. It's literally 2 minutes. Or sometimes I'll do that and jump up and down and all around. So move your body, shift your energy, and become the noticer. And really, really, really dig deeper. Go far beyond just that, because that's one tiny little thing you can do. Do that today at least 3 times. And I really want you to become aware of what emotions you're surviving or thriving on. Which emotions do you feel like you are trying to get away from? Which emotions do you really just love and long for? Which ones? And once we begin that noticing is when we can start shifting and being that empath, that alchemist, that shifter for the better, for the highest good of ourselves. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. I was trying to make this podcast in under 30 minutes. It's hard. I'm a chatter. I like to chat it up because I just feel so enlightened and enlivened and so grateful to be here and to share this journey with you, my beautiful soul sisters. And know that you are worthy of whatever it is. You are worthy of shifting. You are worthy of letting go of the overwhelm, the anxiety, the feelings of being stuck, of not knowing maybe what your purpose is, of maybe having toxic relationships and healing them. That can happen, but it all has to start first within you. When you begin that inner journey, that inner noticing, that awakening towards who you really are, my beautiful soul sisters, flaws and all. Awakening to your authentic you is showing up exactly as you are, And also we can love and accept and approve of ourselves exactly as we are, as we strive to be better and do better. And we have to actually make those changes in our lives to start shifting and transforming. I love you. Please head over to Awaken You with Shelly Bond and leave a 5-star rating and a review, and share this. Please make a pledge to share this with one person and ask them to do the same. My heart is growing and expanding. Awaken You Yoga Healing Center with Shelly soon. It's not published yet, but there will be. www.awaken you yoga healing center. So many amazing things. I'm working through technical difficulties. Facebook, Shelly Bond, and Instagram, Awaken You Shelly Bond. You can also please leave comments and share, awaken you, shellybond@gmail.com. I love you. This is what I tell my babies every night, and I give them the kisses. I say, I love you, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the universes. I'm so grateful for you. I love you, beauties. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye until next week.